Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. Good to see you for show number 2. That's right, show number 2. This is our second episode of JMS Live. Today, we were on earlier with a surprise Saturday afternoon pop-up show, and it was fantastic. It was terrific. Lots of levity, and we had an opportunity to chat with our viewers. That's right, celebrating our viewers, celebrating life, celebrating good times. And that's what we do all the time here on the show. This is our 1-year anniversary week. That's right. 1 year ago this week, we launched the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. It started out as Jim Masters Live, morphed into the Jim Masters Show Live, which we also called JMS Live, and it has been incredible. Hours and hours and hours of entertainment, inspiring conversations, broadcast hours logged. Some episodes have been extraordinary in terms of the poignant moments and the viewer interaction all around the world, and the levity. Great entertainment with guests from Broadway, Hollywood, television, music, film, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, you name it. We have had guests from all walks of life, from all around the world, all different time zones too. Matter of fact, sometimes we do 2 episodes a day when we have international guests joining us. And so we want to accommodate their fans and viewers and their family and friends. So we'll do an earlier afternoon show. Usually we'll do that on the weekend. Like today, we didn't do a guest. We did a Jim Masters host, levity viewer pop-up show Saturday afternoon chat. And it was great to see so many of you, all the smiley faces, to talk with you personally and intimately. And we're going to be doing more of that. We're actually going to be creating some VIP experiences on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, with the Jim Masters Show Live, which all of you know, if you watch regularly, is an extension of my work as a television and radio host and presenter, personality, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover artist. And we've been doing this work for years. And 1 year ago, we brought in the TV lights, built the home studio here in the greater New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. And we said, hi, I'm Jim Masters. Welcome to Jim Masters Live. Again, which turned into the Jim Masters Show Live. And the rest is history. 1 year ago, over 400 live daily episodes. There's only a couple of times we haven't been on. Family event, maybe a particular holiday, and maybe a storm came through and knocked out Wi-Fi. That's really about it. The rest of the time we have been here live for all of you, and it has and continues to be a really cool experience. Karen is here. She says, hello, my dear levity family. Good to see you, Karen, and welcome to the show. It's nice to see you here. We welcome everybody, and of course, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. June Rachelson Aspa is here, and she says, hi, all. Nice to see you as well, June. We love you, June. Now coming to us live from not New York City, but from Maryland. Maryland is here. Good evening, Jim and all lovelies. Good to see you, Maryland. And Maryland watches from beautiful Ontario, Canada. And Karen says, thank you so much for your levity, Jim. My pleasure. It's always a blessing when you're with us, Karen Campbell Green. And Carla is here. She was with us as well when we did our Saturday afternoon pop-up show. If you missed the show, you can see it on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. You can see all the episodes on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Carla is here from Brazil, from South America, one of our regular levities. Good evening, gang. Greetings from Brazil. Good vibes. Absolutely. Stephen is back for more fun and levity. Fantastic, he says. Stephen Carter Hicks is here. Crystal says, I love your shirt, Jim. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Crystal. Hope you're doing well there in Connecticut. Christine is here. Good evening, Jim and lovities. Hello again. Welcome, actor Ryan Duncan, to the show tonight. Another great show ahead. Let the levity begin. Thank you very much as well. And thank you for that cool gift of the Jim Masters Show Live coaster that you sent, which was really, really beautiful. Really, really nice. I appreciate that. And Stephen Carter Hicks says, woo-hoo. He's excited that we're here and we're live on the show as well. And we welcome everybody that's tuning in from literally all around the world. Sherry Larson is here. She says, hello, everyone. Good to see you, Sherry. welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. It's nice to see you here. Christelle says, hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend and looking forward to an exciting show with inspiring conversation and levity. Absolutely, Crystal, watching in Connecticut. June says, the Levity Squad. Woohoo, you got it. Absolutely. Karen says, happy Mother's Day to all the Levity moms. And we say happy Mother's Day as well. It is Mother's Day weekend. Yes, we celebrate all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day to you and to your mother or grandmother or wife, sister, whoever it is, whoever that special person is that, you consider your mom. Even if it wasn't maybe your biological mom, maybe just somebody that raised you that you think of as a mom, whatever it may be, and whoever she is, we celebrate her today and everybody that is celebrating Mother's Day. It's a beautiful day to celebrate and a wonderful time to celebrate. And we love it. Lots of levity. Matter of fact, we showed earlier during the pop-up show, there is yours truly, Jimmy, with his mom, my beautiful mom, Helen, and there is Mrs. Masters. And, when you look at her, she looks in that photo a little bit like a cross, I'd say, between maybe Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis and Audrey Hepburn, very much like Audrey Hepburn with the pillbox hats and the white gloves. Oh, yeah, she did all that. And we still, we're blessed with her presence. We love her very, very much. She's near and dear to our family. She's talented, loving, warm, kind, creative. She had worked for 33 years in New York for Estee Lauder before retiring. And then the family moved from New York and built a home in Florida. And they are in Florida now. And we hope to get down to see everybody real soon. But there's my mom. On this Mother's Day weekend, we raise a glass to my mom as well. There we are again, going back in time. I look the same, don't I? I look absolutely the same, and so does she. And levity to my mom and levity to all the moms out there, as well. Let's check in with a few more of the levities that are watching, like Juanita, who's watching in South Africa, as always. And she says, hello, Jim and Levity Squad. Nice to see you for show number 2. You're a trooper. You were with us earlier, considering all those South African floods and the storms you had and everything else. Wow. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Thank you, Stephen. Yes, you do look the same. Audrey Hepburn. She looks like Audrey, my mother, a little bit there. Yep. So precious. And Amy is here as well. Nice to see you, Amy. And we love when Amy is watching. She says, hello, all levity friends. And it's nice to see you as well, Amy, one of our regular levity viewers. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody. Sometimes people check in throughout the show and not everybody comments. There's a lot of people that watch, but a lot of times people don't always comment. They just like to kick back and enjoy the show and just watch. So that's perfectly fine. We love that. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on Memorex, you're watching in our archives at Jim Masters TV. We absolutely love that. And again, we encourage you. It really helps the show and it helps our series. It allows us to continue to bring you this extraordinary, exciting daily content, these episodes of this talk show series. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any of the exciting episodes of our series. And tell a friend about our show. That helps the show as well. So good to see everybody. Nice comments. There'll be more coming in. We'll check them out throughout. Gary Troyer is here from Iowa. Good to see you, Gary. And Ann Wozniak from Jacksonville, Florida. This is show number 2 for her as well. She was with us for the pop-up show we did earlier in the afternoon. I guess, again, if you missed it, check it out on our YouTube channel. We've got a very special guest that is joining us tonight. Yes, Ryan Duncan. I know you guys have been very excited about Ryan joining us, as have I been, and Ryan is excited to be here as well. He's in New York City, and he's a terrific actor. He's very, very talented, and we've had an opportunity to chat. We did a little chat before we went live on the air. He was born in Massachusetts. That's right, the Bay State. Moved around a bit with his military family. Did a lot of growing up in Washington, D.C. before moving to New York City in '97 with his best friend, actor Tracy Toms. He has a degree in foreign language from George Mason University, Fairfax, Virginia, and studied through IES in Spain. He's performed on Broadway in Getting the Band Back Together and Shrek. He also received a Drama League nomination in the original cast of the off-Broadway hit Altar Boys, which ran for 5 years. Other off-Broadway credits include Asim Liberty, The Yellow Brick Road, The Fifth Column, It Must Be Him, My First Time, and so many others. He was most recently in a new musical called Passing Through at the Goodspeed Musicals at the wonderful Goodspeed Opera House, which we know so well, which is in Connecticut. Aiming for New York City, of course, next year. Was streaming online last month. He will be in the world premiere of Distant Thunder, the first contemporary Native American musical at the Lyric Theater of Oklahoma. Distant Thunder was in rehearsals last year when the pandemic closed everything down. His television and film work includes Blue Bloods on CBS, Freak Me, He's With Me, In Stereo, Shrek the Musical, I Don't Believe in That, Orbits, and much more. He also worked at regional theaters such as Ford's Theater in DC, Studio Theater in DC, Signature Theater, Virginia, Fifth Avenue Theater, Seattle, Long Wharf Theater in New Haven, Connecticut, Good Theater in Maine, and many, many others. We are so happy to have him here on the show, live and direct from New York City, Ryan Duncan. Hey, Ryan.
Oh my gosh. Whose picture was that? Who's that guy? I feel so lovety. Just your shirt is making me feel lovety. I'm seeing June and Stephen Carter Hicks and Mochi Brazil. Like, hello, everybody. This is incredible.
Well, you know, it's a little secret. You know, the picture has your hair shorter, of course, and you have your hair longer, but
I thought you had longer hair hiding back there.
It was hiding because I haven't had it cut in a year since the pandemic. So now it's coming on that 1 year point, and now you know what happens. You get a goal set. You're like, okay, I've never had it this long in my life, so let's see how long we can go. So it's down to here. Well, it's down. It's actually right where yours is. That's where mine is.
I had it this long in college when I lived in Spain, and then I made an appointment a month ago to cut it, and I chickened out. I was like, no, because I had a few auditions. I was like, no, they'll cut it if they need be, and then
you know what
nothing
happens?
else happened.
Now it becomes like a friend. It's like it's like an extra arm or something. I mean, does it get in my face when I'm sleeping in the bed? Yes, it goes across my face. I got to blow it off and fight with it. Does it end up when I tilt forward and I'm using the laptop or trying to eat a bowl of cereal? Does it want to come down? And does it ever end up and try to make a comma in my mouth?
Yep,
yes.
I'm eating it. So it's all over the house.
So right now I have it pulled back for as long as it'll last.
Yeah, well, Wednesday I lose that friend or some of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I did make another with a local guy who cuts hair who's also a performer, and I was like, I want to give him that business, and I won't go totally short.
Do you have something coming up where you have to get it cut?
No, not necessarily, but some projects I've been working on it's not necessary for any of those. And part of it is kind of like, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, but there's a little feeling of, let me leave some of these memories behind, because it's been quite a year for everybody. And so, no, but it just started growing like a year and a half ago, and I don't know, it's getting tangled. I'm also pulling it out every time I pull it back. I pull some of it out.
Oh, you do?
I'm like, I want to keep it. Yeah, I'll pull it out. I'll eat it.
So, so it's the strain of pulling it back. Yeah, sometimes it does. You know, when you just come out of the shower and it's all like drying and everything, it's kind of cool. It's nice. But then sometimes a couple of days later, I find that it's better a couple of days after. It's like if you go like the next day after washing it, it's better than that day, because that day it becomes like a buffoon.
It's funny when you go to cut your hair tries to preserve itself by looking really good the day of the cut or the day before. The hair will try to save itself. But mine's become curly. I never had curly hair before. It's now.
I can't remember his name, but he was so popular. I think he still is. He was that very popular celebrity hairstylist. He wore the cowboy hat. Do you remember? You look very similar to him right now with the hair. Jose Ebert, maybe? Was it Jose Ebert?
I know who you're talking about.
With the hat and Hollywood, and he was like the hairdresser to the stars. you look
I'll
like
take
him
it.
now with the hair and everything.
Yeah, some people think I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda. It took me a while to figure out what was going on with all the smiles and the hi and the chatting with me, and people are like, and I was like, what is who am I? Who do they think I am? And then a couple of people were finally like, excuse me, are you Lin-Manuel? And I was like, oh no, but he's great. He's the nicest guy ever.
But he's a dear friend.
Oh yeah, I'm him. Well, then I felt a responsibility to be. I think I conduct myself very well in public, but I had an extra responsibility to be really nice and always happy, so that Lin-Manuel doesn't get a bad rap.
In case, right? Yeah, Lin-Manuel has been seen drunk on the floor of a bar.
Right. He's screaming at people in a park.
Screaming, that's right.
And he's all of a sudden getting...
He won't put the mask on.
Wear a mask. Yeah, whatever I do.
Yeah. So how have you been during all of this craziness of, COVID and pandemics and economy and civil unrest and political craziness? It's just everything that's gone on has been extraordinary. How have you stayed connected, creative, and sane?
Wow. That's the best question ever. I'll say this. I have a history of my degrees in foreign language, and I've studied a lot of international studies and culture, American racial thought, race, racism, all kinds of things, foreign language, all that kind of stuff. So what's going on is nothing new. It just keeps getting a light shed on it. But this particular time when the pandemic was hitting, I had a neighbor that lived downstairs who was a virologist. So his whole life was studying parts of a virus. He eventually left, sold his apartment, went back to France a few years ago. And so in February of last year, I started to ask him, I said, I'm seeing this stuff on the news. There's a coronavirus. Do you know, what can you tell me? He told me everything he knew at the time, that a lot of it panned out. And I said, well, I'm supposed to go to Oklahoma to do this show. And he was like, well, you can stock up your apartment here before you go and make sure it is like, how you have a storm in America, you have like the storm of the century. And I'm like, yes, like you get stuff for 2 weeks. He said, this will be real for like 4 weeks. At the time, he thought it was going to be a month. And then it was like, he said, as long as we follow all the rules. So, well, so if we do everything right, we could be in for a month. So when I got to Oklahoma, it was a premiere of the show we've worked on for so long. We have new cast members from out there. The lyric is phenomenal. They took a real chance on the show. They wanted the show, but they took a lot of us from New York. That never happens. And we shut down after New York shut down. So we were supposed to go, the show was canceled, but we were supposed to go another week and film it. And then they said, hey, so we got to end tonight at midnight. This was the 17th of March. Is there anywhere safer to send you all because New York is blowing up? And all of us all of a sudden had friends that were coming down with I don't even think we're calling it COVID yet. They were just like with the coronavirus. Yeah. And I flew us to my partner's in Florida. I said I can go to Fort Myers, and I was there for 5 months, where I did a lot of videos and fostered a lot of conversations on what was going on in the country, but also trying to stay creative. I have to say there was a lot of loss. Like there are people I know that passed away. There are people I know that were very sick, but I started to really reach out to people and create work and help promote the shows that would eventually happen again one day. And I felt much more comfortable as I bought all the equipment that I now have in my apartment for filming and stuff. So I chose things I really cared about. And I decided I'll work on those things, and I'll do some things that maybe will make people laugh, but some things that'll also raise money. And I, donated money to things. And I'm an extrovert with an introvert core. So I actually did
an
better than I
introvert.
thought.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't think I'd do well, and I did.
Yeah, right. There is a thing for that. There's a thing called extroverted introvert, where you are extroverted when the time calls for it, and when you're out in public and doing what you have to do, and at a party or on stage. But then you like your quiet time. You like time to pull the shades down. And
I'm great by myself too. Yeah, and I was a shy kid, and I think that's a part of we have to survive and get by and figure out when we can thrive again. And there were a lot of people, we saw everything on social media, a lot of people having very different reactions to the pandemic and to their isolation and all this kind of stuff. And so I thought, reach out to the people you love and care about, and just see where everybody is, and make sure you're. I wasn't someone who needed to put lots of content out on Instagram, for instance. I have friends that did that. That was great. I just felt like maybe I can see if I'm more comfortable doing some video stuff people have asked me to do, and I kind of, I don't know, said no. I don't know if anyone wants to see it. Got comfortable doing that.
So what was it? What were you putting out or thinking about putting out?
Well, it seemed like every show we've ever done, you were contacted to do some kind of reunion version of this. And some of the shows I was like, does anyone know who we are from this show?
Right.
I don't want to see a reunion of that show, of us. But the first people that reached out were people from Passing Through that I did a good speed. And Brett Ryback and Eric Ulloa were like, hey, we'd like to do a retrospective, kind of a few numbers from the show, and it was on Playbill. And so while I was working on that, I thought this is as good a time as any to kind of revive a character I played on Broadway 2 years ago. This bizarre character I'd created named Nick Styler, who was in a show called Getting the Band Back Together. I had one scene in Act 2. I wrote half of my song with the composer Mark Allen, and then it became this big deal, and people had asked me to do a spinoff, and I was like, I think this is the time to do his video. What if he were in quarantine? What if how is he dealing with this?
What would that be like?
Yeah.
You see what Mary says here? Robin Williams called it a site-specific extrovert.
Interesting. I love that, because he really turned it on in interviews, but had these inner demons and these things that no one really suspected. I think everyone thinks comedians are going to always be funny in front of you, and they're so serious sometimes when you meet them, because there's a lot underneath it. Yeah.
Right. A lot of times they come from sorrow or tragedy or unhappy childhoods, and the comedy is what they use to get by and get through it all.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism, but there's also that joy, and as long as other people are laughing and enjoying this, that can sustain me for a while. But being with myself, I don't think I have the depression some of them battle at all. I feel like I'm very lucky, because I think people in my family do battle that. And
Well, a lot of people now, especially with this, anybody who had any tendency towards anxiety or depression, the pandemic and the staying home and lack of hugging and contact has brought it out for a lot of people. The stress, the economic, all the different variables of what we've all had to deal with has certainly exacerbated a lot of that and welcomed the return of a lot of that for people.
Well, some people felt that they did well during the pandemic, and what I mean is not just survive, but they discovered new things about themselves, or they found that they were in a better place had they.
Did you?
In some ways, yeah. I have friends that were working in offices who thought, I didn't have a life and didn't see it until now. There were moments where I thought, I can take a break and kind of step back and reassess and see what's important. And so I appreciated some of it, and think people feel bad saying, I think some good came from some of this, because I lost a few friends, my friend's grandmother. I know people that have it now. So it was hard to, I think there was guilt. There's a lot of feelings during this pandemic, right? A lot of guilt, but the creativity of trying to I don't know, make people laugh, make people feel good, and raise money for causes. I think that made me feel better. And I did a lot of cooking. I'd never been to Costco before I went to Florida. Wow. But Florida, you can't buy a few. Yeah, you can't buy a few onions. You have to buy.
You've got to buy like a 6-month supply.
It's like, it was incredible though. I'm like, look at this 400 chicken wings in this package.
A box of Cheerios the size of a Lincoln Continental.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a walk-in box of cereal.
So you mentioned cooking. What are some of do you have any specialties? Have you created any specialties during all of this?
There were things, well, I just finished today.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does America really run on Duncan?
I have to say yes because of being from New England originally. But
in case anybody just tuned in, our guest's name is Ryan Duncan.
And our name used to be spelled that way a few generations back.
Dunkin?
K-I-N.
Really?
Yeah, that's a whole story too. I was doing a lot of genealogy and family history work too during the last few years.
What'd you find out? What's the background, nationalities, ethnicities? What'd you find out?
It's interesting because there's easy answers, right, from immigration, but there's more complicated.
Yes, because there's things that you find out that you had no idea were actually part of the family. Yeah.
And well, there's my mother's side is in Massachusetts. There's the easy answer is most of them immigrated from Sicily, but the dialect they spoke is very unique, and the food we ate and some of the cultural attributes are very Arabic. So we have Italian ancestry, but a lot of also Egyptian and Palestinian. We have Spanish on that side, some Greek and Turkish. So that wasn't surprising, but my mother's side is such a unique look. And so people were like, "Oh, you don't do the 7 fishes and stuff?" And I'm like, no, we're supposed to eat eels, I believe, but we have a lot of kibbeh and Arabic food for Christmas sometimes. And
does anybody think you're Irish with a name like Ryan?
No, but so my dad's side, Duncan is the Scottish.
Yes.
And all I knew from my dad's side was Scottish and German. And there was a mystery branch, and that was the branch I was concentrating on through my dad's mother, who passed away when I was doing Getting the Band Back Together. And she had no idea what she was. Her mother didn't know her. She didn't know her grandfather. My grandmother didn't know her grandfather. So her mother's side was German and English. The father's side was Spanish, English, West African, and Native American. Mm. So it was fascinating because my great-great-grandmother named Fanny had my great-grandmother, her name, as we know, it was Lena Pansy Shoulders. My great-grandmother, but she was born Lena Pansy Case, and her mother was Fanny Case. She had her, I called these archives in Indiana, had her kind of anonymously, didn't put the baby's name or the father's name on the census 5 years later, passed the baby as white, and then called, they took the father's name, said she was divorced, and took the name Holder. So she became Fanny Holder and Lena Pansy Holder.
It's amazing. And nobody back then would have thought anything of it. Today, they would think of different
Fanny Holder.
Right.
But it was funny because the lady at the archive in Indiana was like, well, a single mother at 17 was frowned upon. If she was divorced, it was frowned upon. And then if the baby was mixed race, it was frowned. I said, what wasn't frowned upon when women are concerned, right? And they moved to Kentucky. I mean, she was a 17-year-old, my great-great-grandmother, in a cotton spooling mill in Evansville, Indiana.
Wow.
And so it's funny because you look at all these people and you're like, I'm the culmination of all these people. And certain things start to make sense in your family, the way certain people looked or behaved or spoke, and you're like, oh, things were hidden.
Yeah. You watch Finding Your Roots on PBS?
I'm obsessed with that. Yeah, Henry Louis Gates, he's a hero. I'm obsessed.
The things that they find out that you would never have expected. You know what I mean? Like, we know that we're English on both my mother and father's side. Masters is an English name, goes back to Yorkshire. Irish on my father's mother's side. We know that my mother's side is English, Swedish, and French. There may be more. If you do.
You look Mediterranean.
People think I'm Greek. They think I'm Greek. They think I'm Italian, Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah. All northern. My sister has blonde hair, blue eyes. I have cousins with red hair and freckles.
It's funny though that they're like, when you watch Finding Your Roots, how much is hidden in people's ancestry because they had to survive in a white dominated country. And there's other things that were like my grandmother, my mom's mother's. I learned Spanish and Sicilian dialect from her. I'm fluent in Spanish, not dialect, but I wondered why she spoke both, and she would translate. She's like, well, we have a different, trajectory, history, I guess.
Isn't that cool? But, so did you do Ancestry.com or 23andMe and all, any of that? I haven't done that yet, but we have cousins who have.
I did.
And they found Finnish in us, Finland, because the Finns also merged with the Swedes and some other cool things.
Changing their names and living in other countries. And I did both of them. Yeah.
Supposedly everything goes back to Africa. Everything. Yeah.
Way back. A lot of these tests will do the last 500 years.
Right.
But
right.
but no, I had a woman contact me to say, on the Duncan side, to say, hey, I was given up for adoption in the 80s. Do you know who my mother is? And I was like, and then my dad was like, well, we have some cousins who would have been that age. I said, you have a female cousin that would have been this age in the 80s. And as soon as I saw her picture on Facebook, I was like, that's her daughter. How do I finesse this? And they're together now. They've met and back in the family.
That is cool, huh? It gives you a certain appreciation too of, like, as a kid, I always used to like to interview older relatives. I'd take a little tape recorder and just sit and, what was it like growing up when you were a kid? What were some of the things that you experienced? And I mentioned it on this show that we realized, which was quite a discovery, that my mother's grandmother, who actually came from Massachusetts, from Boston, my mother's grandmother and grandfather both settled in Boston, but they came from Europe. And my father's side is the New York side. So they settled in Boston, but she originally came from Gothenburg, Sweden. And she was a princess, part of the Swedish royal family, and grew up in a castle and was a little girl. And they came over to Boston and settled in Boston, Waltham. And then they branched out from there.
And isn't that funny? Like, a princess, and then some people just leave some of that behind. Some people leave poverty behind and become something completely different. And so that's kind of the interesting thing that Henry Louis Gates does with finding your roots.
That castle still exists. It's still in the family.
Have you gone?
No, I want to go. Sweden is one of the places I haven't had the opportunity to go to. I'd love to take my mother there too, considering it's her grandmother, Hilma. She used to teach. Her father was a general in the Swedish army. I do like Swedish meatballs, and I like mashed potatoes. That's the Irish part. So I wonder why. But
we have a little Irish we didn't know about. Sorry, I didn't know until 23andMe. That was never something in our family. We said they didn't know. They had no idea. Yeah.
So you have the Irish too.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So it was really cool because the castle still exists. It's still there. And she met a gentleman by the name of Arthur Kierstead, and his family came from Europe, and they settled in New York when it was New Amsterdam, before it was even called New York City. And then they moved up to Canada, and they settled in a town in New Brunswick called Kierstead Falls and Kierstead Mountain, which still exists. It's a big, beautiful area in New Brunswick. We only found that out, I'd say, about 7 years ago with my mother being, and I've mentioned it multiple times, she's the youngest of 16 out of Connecticut and Massachusetts, Boston, Hartford. I mean, all of that. We have relatives all over there and all over the country. And so there are relatives, extended relatives, who have been doing ancestral digging, like posting online. Anybody who's related to my husband's grandmother's sister, blah, 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 blah. And I went online and I threw some names in, and all of this trail popped up. And it was people who had been doing research since like 98. And that's when they realized the connection to Canada with my mother's grandfather. And then also the grandmother being a princess, because she used to tell the kids that she was a princess. And they used to, my mother and all her sisters and brothers used to laugh. Yeah, Grandma, everybody's a princess. Yes, I'm a princess. You're a princess. But in reality, she actually was. And
that passed down, yeah.
Used to teach all the kids how to have posture by having them walk with a book on their head.
So she started that.
She's the one who started it. Very well dressed, posture like this from Sweden. Very, stoic.
But see, we're the only voice all those people have today. It kind of culminates in us, and that kind of makes me feel like there's great responsibility in a way, because all these people you find that you didn't know you had, or these lineages. I said to my dad, you've got colonizer and settler and slave and First Nations and all these things, and there's nothing more American than that. But who are they? We don't know, but we're the living, culmination of that.
So are your roots in Massachusetts, or did people move? Is Massachusetts one of the stops on the way?
No, my mother's whole family, I think my grandfather was born in Connecticut, but they all settled in Massachusetts. One little branch actually settled in the Bronx, and I just met on 23andMe a cousin from that side. My father's family, though, some of it I can trace back way to New England, to colonies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a lot of farmers, a lot of poor farmers. But
Boston area or other parts of Massachusetts?
They were in Billerica. I found Billerica, which is something my dad's family would never have heard of in Massachusetts. Billerica, it's near, my family's in Lawrence, Haverhill.
Lawrence. Oh, yeah.
Immigrant
Lawrence.
city. And
you know who was from Lawrence? Very famous singer came from Lawrence. Robert Goulet.
Oh yeah, Robert Goulet's from Lawrence.
From Lawrence, Massachusetts. Yeah.
The guy who used to host America's Funniest Home Videos is from Haverhill, where my mom lives.
Bob Saget?
Tom Bergeron.
Oh, Tom Bergeron, yes, because he used to do a show called People Are Talking, which was on WBZ Channel 4 in Boston.
Yeah, my good friend Meg, her mother was a nurse with the doctor she worked for was Mindy Kaling's mother, and her assistant was the Wahlbergs' mom.
Oh yes, Mark and Donnie. Yes,
Mark and Donnie.
Yeah, Dorchester or Roxbury?
Dorchester.
They're Dorchester, right? Massachusetts,
southeast
part of Boston for people outside the area. Very, very cool. Wow, we could be.
Yeah, my dad's in Illinois. We could be, because my dad's family all settled eventually Illinois, Indiana, southern Illinois, Indiana, Wabash River.
So, do you still have a lot of family there?
My dad's talk about names. My dad's two sisters live there, and he's a twin. Norman Lee and Norma Lou. That's their twin names.
Really?
Yeah. The great grandchildren of Lena Pansy Shoulders. And so my aunts live there. My dad's in Arkansas now. My grandmother passed away only a couple of years ago. My dad's parents lived to be 97, and my mom's mom is 97. She just turned 97 in March, is in Massachusetts.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful. Yeah. Do you get a chance to see her?
Yeah, I'm going to go this summer. I mean, I haven't seen anyone in the last year or so.
It's been tough, isn't it? Yeah. Especially when the people are spread out. We have a lot of families spread out too.
And my grandmother lives on the second floor. She still goes up the stairs. I don't know.
Really?
I know like 60-year-olds that can't.
Does she have the accent walking. Too? Cape Cod.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's even weirder than that. Like they'll say things like my grandmother would say that you sit in the parlor, you go down the cellar. The bathroom, she would say, oh my God, I laughed hysterical. California should be California, but they say California for some reason.
Yes.
You drink tonic. Tonic is going out of the lexicon though.
Yes.
Oh my God, we got a tonic.
Tonic. Yeah, tonic.
My friend Rita is coming over drinking vodka.
Wearing her new socks.
Socks. Yeah.
I have a friend, my college roommate was originally from the Taunton area. He's now married with children and they live in Bridgewater. And he's a sports reporter and worked for newspapers and magazines and everything. But he wouldn't say Worcester, Massachusetts, which is what I would say, Worcester. He'd say Worcester. Say it's not Worcester.
My family says Worcester. When I hear that kind of accent, my mom, I would go, who says, or like when we watch Cheers and they say, hey, Nam, Boston. I'm always like, who sounds like that? My mom goes, the Irish. That was her answer. The Irish have a different accent. Because Boston Irish is very specific and they say Worcester. They'll say stuff a little bit different.
He's Irish. Yes, he's Irish. Yeah, Worcester. Cape Cod.
They'll say horse. Cape Cod. My family says a hoss. You ride a hoss. And when you ride a carousel, it's called the Derby horses. The Derby horses.
You know, it's funny. My mother, I think she still says it. She originally from Connecticut, born in Hartford, and then they moved out to the suburbs. When we were growing up, you know the boat you take, it starts with an F, and maybe it would take you to
the
Martha's
ferry.
Vineyard. Yeah. So how do you say it?
They'd say the ferry, I think I say the ferry. Most people say the ferry, but
in New England they say ferry. My mother says ferry. Yeah, so then somebody said, we told friends in school, we said, yeah, we're taking the ferry over from Long Island to Connecticut. They said, you're what? Yeah, we're taking the ferry over. The ferry? Don't you mean the ferry?
Ferry. People with the name Kerry is Kerry. Kerry's coming over.
Yeah.
She's in the car now. She's getting out.
Right. And also Bear. Now I would say bear. She says beer. Beer.
Beer.
Like a grizzly bear.
Oh, that's another weird thing. It shouldn't be that. Like my aunt says, the past tense of someone got beat up, they got bet up. He
But
bet
then
him up.
In New York, you can hear with some of the older school regimen, bottle.
Bottle, buttons, Manhattan.
You hear that in Ireland too, bottle. My
Uh-huh.
father, English, Irish, and we've mentioned it on the show when I had Irish guests on, how growing up in New York, out on Long Island, my father from New York City originally, has always consistently said film instead of film. Film.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
I had no idea what he was saying. I said I would try to correct him as a kid. I'd be like, Dad, what's film? You mean like fill them up or something? You know, take the lemonade and fill them up.
They add things.
It wasn't until I was on PBS interviewing the Irish tenor Ronan Tynan when he used that phrase. He said, blah, 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 picture taking, and they used a lot of film. I'm like, it was like,
there it is.
And I couldn't say anything because I was live on TV and I couldn't acknowledge it. And I'm like, where have I heard that before?
What about a water fountain? Have you heard what they call it?
What do they say?
A bubbler.
Bubbler.
Drink from the bubbler.
See, now on Long Island, I say Long Island. I don't say Long Island.
Yeah, who does?
I don't know.
Who says that?
I haven't met
people
anybody
think that's what they say in Long Island.
Yeah, I don't say Long Island. I never did. And you know somebody who's not from Long Island because they'll say, when they say they're going to go visit somebody that's there, they'll say, we're going in Long Island. And we'll say, we'll say, well, actually it's on because it's an island that's 180 miles long and it's separate from the mainland. It's actually, you can only get there by boat, bridge, or tunnel. And so we'll say, and sometimes we'll just say on the island.
On the island, I've heard.
We're going on the island. But what's really funny is anything north, if you grow up on Long Island, anything north of, let's say, New York City, the Bronx, it would be, say you're going to Mamaroneck, or you're going to White Plains, or you're going to go to Rye, New York, Westchester County. If you're going north of the Bronx, we're going upstate for the weekend.
There was just a meme about that today. It's like,
it's not
anything above Bronx is upstate. Westchester's not upstate. It's upstate. There was argument. Yeah.
And then you talk to somebody that's in Syracuse and they're like, that's upstate. Mamaroneck and White Plains, that's not upstate. That's Westchester County.
My father's family couldn't understand my mother's family. My dad's, they all have a Midwestern kind of twang, but my grandmother was from Kentucky, and she would say things like, well, now, I reckon we got something for you. Or she said one time, now, normally I soak the beans for hours. Normally, I said, you speak like the libretto of Oklahoma. But they called my mom's parents once when we were there in Massachusetts, and my grandmother answered in Massachusetts, like, hello? Who's Buitt? Buitt? My dad's name was Bud. They called him Bud. Can we talk to Bud? Bud, is Bud there? But who's Buitt? They just, the diphthongs were killing them. Yeah. My mom had to get on and translate.
Oh, those diphthongs, they'll get in the way. Yeah. That is funny. But you've moved around a lot too, right? In the military family.
Yeah.
So you've heard a lot of these different dialects over the years, I would imagine, and probably were able to pick some up and maybe use them in your acting, right?
I do that. I use stuff all the time. I moved here from the DC area. That was Northern Virginia was kind of where we were stationed, where my dad worked at the Pentagon. But prior to that, it was New Orleans, Arizona, where my brother was born, Southern Virginia, Berlin. Then I studied in Spain in college and worked with people from all around the world. So
what would you say the DC accent sounds like?
You know, it's funny. I moved here saying y'all and like over. There's almost like what you jokingly call a California accent. We'd say, are these y'all's books? Are these y'all's? And within 2 or 3 years of being here, it disappeared. My house and over, I know it sounds funny. It sounds very California. There's something in the DC area because Maryland, see, in Virginia, you make fun of Baltimore. oh, they go down the ocean, hon. They drink a soda and go down the ocean. So you can hear that in kind of Pennsylvania, but in Northern Virginia, it's a weird almost, it seems like there isn't one, but they'll say y'all, and y'alls. And there's like this weird O a little bit.
Because you forget that, once you get to Maryland, you're below the Mason-Dixon line. That is pretty much the line there, and some of the Southern accent comes in. Really, really cool when you think about it, right?
I love it. It's fascinating. Because we would say
a Canadian accent too.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a little like that. But we'd say you go 5 minutes south of Woodbridge and they sound Southern to us.
So you're in New York. I'm sure you've picked up some of the New York sounds.
Oh, my parents think it's hilarious. My mom,
That's fantastic.
Fantastic. When I do like this kind of thing for the Brooklyn kind of thing, hey, how you doing? Because I've had to do that in a couple things. They think it's hilarious because it's different than Massachusetts version of that.
Jim Masters.
Jim Masters.
In England, it would be Masters, and there it would be Masters.
Masters. There's also like the Bronx has its own like thing. There's like a
each borough.
It's really it's like it's awesome. Like there's so many different. My friends from Queens sound different than friends from Brooklyn who almost sound Massachusetts.
Right.
My friend was like, I talk to her, and I was like, oh, that's almost Massachusetts.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Let me go talk to her.
Right now, that I've heard people from Boston sound a little bit like that.
Yeah,
too.
It sounds very similar to Massachusetts.
That sounds Wahlbergish a little.
Yeah, go get the brother. Go ask the sister. My friend from Brooklyn does that too. Oh, the father, the brother. I'm like, why do you sound Massachusetts?
Right.
It's not. It's a different. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? So, how did you get started in the arts and entertainment and performance? Being in Massachusetts, what were some of those inspirations for you?
I'll tell you, I know exactly what made me want to be an actor. And I was actually living in Berlin as a kid. I lived there for 3.5 years. And the movie E.T. came out. And because I wrote this, I was going to go to grad school, and I wrote this in a grad school essay of why I wanted to be an actor. And if
E.T. came out, then you need to see the episode we did a couple of weeks ago where Dee Wallace was a guest on our show.
I thought you mentioned her on one of these videos. No,
she was on. Check that episode out.
She's with my agent.
Check that out. You'll love it.
She's incredible. So I will check that out. But I saw that movie, and I think as most kids, they were like, I want to ride in a spaceship, or I want to have a friend that's an alien. And I was like, I don't know why, but I'm jealous that these kids get to do this, whatever this is. I didn't know what film acting was. I knew they were acting, but I thought, no, I know it's not real. I want to do that though. And so when we moved back to the States, we lived in Kansas for a year. I forgot about Kansas. We moved from Kansas to DC, and my mom said, Ryan, there's a drama club in your school. And I was painfully shy. And I remember being like, oh God, okay, all right. And I forced myself to audition, and I had a little kind of Broadway vibrato voice, like, nah, and I would hide it. I would hide it in the auditions for that when I got into 6th grade, and sing very plainly. And then I did all the shows in middle school, which surprises me now. It still surprises me. I was so shy. I did theater in high school. Then I went to, I started working in the local dinner theater circuit in the DC area while I was in college, getting a degree in foreign language, kind of international studies, foreign language, culture, and all that.
And what were you hoping to do with that? What was there a master plan with that?
I didn't know. I think because my dad's practicality rubbed off on me, I wanted to perform, but I didn't know what that career was. So I would audition for schools like James Madison and stuff as an actor or singer. I remember even playing piano to get in to JMU, and I got into their performing groups, and I had horrible SAT scores. I had been in AP Bio and AP Language, but I had horrible SAT scores. So my plan was to always switch to international studies or foreign language. I don't know what I was going to do. I thought maybe I'd be a translator at the UN or for the Miss Universe pageant or something.
Yeah. Right. And you thought of government work because you were in DC?
I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I was kind of, this is funny, I was scouted kind of once from an actor, writer, now he's a friend, but someone that worked for the Obamas and said, you have a cultural background and you're an actor and you speak these languages. Michelle Obama kind of needs somebody. So I met with someone in DC about it, and it was one of those, but you have to quit acting right now and do this for a year. And I was like, I can't do that. I have shows that I want to do. I want to perform. But I thought that was very cool. But I loved that these other things I enjoyed and was good at They all feed your acting career. I tell young people, I have Q&As recently with kids and I'm like, or students, and I'm like, whatever that weird thing is about you that you want to hide, show it. Well, being appropriate, but show it. All these things that you're interested in, you're going to, within reason.
That weird thing is.
That weird thing you don't want to show anyone, bust it out in an audition. No, but like these conversations like we're having, these happen in the room and you've sang and acted and it's like, but now let's talk about what this show's about and can you bring that to the table? And that's one of my favorite things. Because that's all I have is me and what I know.
You like working with the kids?
I do. I was working in an elementary school the year I moved to New York. So I started as the assistant ESL teacher and became the assistant guidance counselor while I was doing the show Hair at Night at Studio Theater in DC, which none of my students could see because they were in elementary school and their parents and the show had nudity. But I moved with my best friend to the city. We'd had all these rent callbacks and we moved here and I have worked with kids since. I volunteered with A-STEP and the IRC. I taught refugees the year I adopted my dog, which is a whole kind of its own story. That dog was an angel that got me through a midlife crisis. I've worked with TDF, with student playwrights. Anytime someone has Q&A, they've asked me to do that with students about the business or whatever, I'm happy to do that.
So when you came to New York, what was that like? And what was the gig or the project or the passion for you that brought you to the Big Apple?
Well, I remember wrestling over it in my head. I wanted to be on Broadway. And we had watched the Tony Award. We'd come up on New York. We'd come up from like drama trips from DC. I don't know why I did that. They were drama trips. And we saw shows. We saw like Les Mis twice because we voted to see it again. We saw Phantom and City of Angels. And I was like, I've got to do this. I was jealous on the bus ride back. I couldn't listen to the album. I was like, I think I want to do this. And I don't know how to, I guess I have to move to New York. And I made the decision. And my best friend had gotten into Juilliard and she was like, great, you'll live with me and my cousin Tara. And we moved and a friend got me a job at a restaurant and I started auditioning and it went from like, I had a lot of auditions and callbacks before I moved. And then I got here, it was like crickets for a while, as it happens. And then in 1 week, I booked 3 things, like almost a year later. The following spring, I moved in the summer. Following spring, I booked three things: a cruise ship, a national tour, a non-ec tour, and then an off-Broadway show called The Maltese Chicken. I don't remember what that was. I don't know if I was the chicken. I have no idea. But I went on tour with Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Well,
comma. But I also went on tour. I like the way you slipped that in.
Well, that was the one I chose of those 3 jobs. But I was like, I have the Maltese Chicken. That doesn't run very long. No, but my best friend was at Juilliard, so I would come back and attend little things at Juilliard and see things there and hear about the grad school thing. And then I wanted to go to grad school because I thought, well, I can't get a Law and Order episode without grad school. So I had to
read the script. Yeah.
It's just there's so much more than you think. Like you think you go in the room and you're good and you'll get cast. And sometimes that's that way. And sometimes they don't know what to do with you. And for me, I was kind of in the middle and I was ambiguously ethnic and it's weird in the business because like you go from being one thing and then all of a sudden you're another and then you're not that enough and they don't know what to do with you. So you sometimes have a lot of free time. But I got into an off-Broadway theater company and I started to make relationships with people and just create little things. And all these people have gone on to do other things. And then we will take each other with you. You take people with you. And my best friend still does that even from whether you went to Juilliard or not. She takes people with her like, hey, we've collaborated, we've worked together. It's creating community. It's being kind to people you need nothing from. It's being good to work with, but knowing who you are. And so it just started to hit. And then the year I got rejected I was on hold for grad school from like 3 or 4 grad schools. I'd written a letter saying, I'm not to one of the grad schools, my number one choice. I was like at UCSD, I was like, hey, I know I'm waiting to see if this guy takes it because it's a casting like anything else. But I said, I will show up and I'll be someone you can be proud of. And I'm not going to quit before or while or after. And I didn't get in, but a lot of people quit from some of those classes, and that is fine.
Yeah, right.
But I ended up getting altar boys that year. It's like, it just happened. I got a phone call and come in for this show because David, a casting director, was dating a friend of mine and just thought I was funny and referred me. And then all of a sudden I'm originating a show, a huge hit off Broadway.
That's incredible. And then Broadway itself.
Yeah. I think because of that show, the funny thing is that casting director, David Capreliotis, we were just friends for years. And he asked me one day, what's a role you'd like to play? And I was like, so I made it up. I said, well, I'm not like, I want to be this part in this show. I want to be something that and I named 5 things: sing this way, act this way, be this kind of part. And he said, nothing like that exists. And then opening night of Altar Boys, we were on the dance floor and I was like, this is the show. This is the show that I made up the part in my head several years ago, and it exists now. So for Broadway, because of that show, people had seen me in that show. I didn't realize he even saw, that I'd met. So they'd see me in the show. And I did a reading for Josh Prince, who directed me this reading called One Way Ticket to Hell. And then he was like, you need to come in for Shrek. You need to come in for Donkey. And I was reading it. I was like, this is me. This is my personality. And this is me from back home in DC, but you're not going to see it. It's going to be a famous person. It's going to be a different type than me. And that's fine. And they kept saying, no, you need to come in. And that was almost like Altar Boys, all these auditions that seemed so difficult, those were easy because it was just, that was my day. It was my time that day. And at the initial audition for Shrek, I wore a hat to cover my hairline so that they couldn't tell what my hair looked like, because I knew I'm auditioning for animals. So you'd be using this. And so there was something like that happened in that audition. They were like, thank you for coming in. And then I ran into the choreographer the next day who was like, if for any reason this doesn't happen for you, know that everyone in the room would work with you. And I was like, wait, did I just book a Broadway show? He goes, I can't say anything. And then I had a final callback, which was also easy. It was just like the Me show. And it's so funny how just one day it's yours. There's so many times that no one sees you. They don't see you. And then one day they're like, no, we need you for this. And I'm like, here's what I think this is. And that was my debut.
Well, what was that feeling like? The experience of, wow, I mean, am I actually here? Is Broadway right in front of me here? Am I actually on Broadway?
I couldn't believe it. I was sitting with my friend Connie in a restaurant eating chicken wings. I remember that very explicitly, and telling my agent, hey, it went really well. I had just told her I didn't want to say anything to her. I said 2 weeks, it went really well. 2 weeks ago by.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Giving up, passing on the Maltese chicken, but yet here you are in the restaurant eating chicken wings.
That chicken served its purpose.
That's full circle. That's going full circle.
I never even thought of that. That's so funny. Well, my friend I was sitting with, so my agent, I just said, I'm just letting you know how it went. And then she wrote me back. She goes, well, I agree with you because they want you to cover Donkey and play one of the pigs. And I knew that. And my friend goes, wow, 2:00, no Broadway show. 2:15 Broadway show. I kind of laughed because I told myself, I guess I'm not the guy that gets that.
Right.
I've said that about so many things. Well, I guess I'm not the person that gets that. I'll try, but it seems to happen for others.
Yeah.
When I did that show, I pulled my ears. I sat backstage, pulled my earbuds out. I sat backstage so many times because I saw one of my first Broadway shows in that theater. At the Broadway Theater, and it's called Broadway Theater. I mean, it's the Broadway on like Broadway.
Right.
I saw Les Mis there. I don't save ticket stubs, but I saved my high school ticket stubs. They were in a book. I took it to the theater during tech, and I sat in the seat I sat in high school. And I just was like, I watched this, and now I'm teching on this stage. And I would sit backstage and just go, I'm on Broadway. Is this for real?
Right.
I'm waiting to go on in a pig prosthetic face and
unbelievable
suit. It was. I'll tell you, I am not cool about all of it. I will still look up just to remind myself I did these things. These things happened. You know?
Right. Yeah. That, which is great because it makes you humble and it makes you appreciate it, and you don't go around with like this big ego. There's people who will do the slightest thing and they will go around with this major chip and ego and all of that. So you're always, you're probably feeling very blessed by it all and very appreciative of it all. And that drives you forward because you love what you're doing.
I'm so grateful for all of it. And even the worst days, when there were really stressful days, I'm like, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful. I still, like I said, I look stuff up online just to be like, that happened, right? I did
That's
that.
me. That's my name there.
Yeah, and then I covered a principal, and I remember being in his dressing room, the Star dressing room, the first weekend I went on, like right in the new year of 2009, and looking around, being like, I just remember when I wanted to do a reading. I want to do a reading. Everyone does readings, and I'm going on for that part. And then it was 10 years, which I call my midlife crisis, but really it was mild compared to what people go through around the world. 10 years before I did get in the band back together, but I was in development. I was doing a lot of off-Broadway shows. And then here I was in my second Broadway show, writing, creating my own material, and I could improv every night because that was the feel of it. And so I pinched myself again. I'm like, who writes their own song that they do word for word on Broadway? The last night I was in tears, and Jasmine, who's in the show with me, is like, are you okay? This was during getting the band back together. And I said, I wrote this in my apartment. I mean, Mark wrote the first part of the song, and I said in 2014, after we did Out of Town, I said, I'll take this home. I'll figure something out. I came back in and I said, all right, I'm going to have a breakdown in this song. And so follow me along, and we'll try this. And when I smash my face on the keyboard the second time, like that Muppet does, Muppet that's like, I'll never get it right. Then you can cut out the music, and I'll have written a little monologue, and then we'll finish. And they were like, sure. And then it was verbatim in the show pretty much. And I lost it the last night because it became a big deal. And then all of a sudden I was like, did that happen? Because right when you want to get upset, because like I could have done more on Broadway in those years, I had to go through whatever it was that I went through and had my dog and all that stuff. Right. Sounds like I had my dog. But
did you?
I feel like I felt so parental. But that's a really,
how many hours of labor was it?
He's a part Chihuahua. So it was
cesarean or
I was very lucky. No, I just sneezed him out. But he got me through I almost moved to Maine. I almost moved out of the city, and I had these 10 years between the two Broadway shows.
You needed to go back to like northern New England, quiet.
I just wanted to move out of the city and
breathe and fresh air.
I thought my career was over for some reason. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I did this Broadway show, and then I'm working on these other little things, but I needed whatever that was. I'm still trying to figure out. But I know that dog, his little
like a savior
somewhere. That little dog that was painted by my friend Abby. I had a dream about that dog years before I got a dog.
Is the dog still with you?
No, he passed away 4 years ago.
Oh, he did. Yeah. What was the name?
Jerry. He came with the name Jerry. The funniest thing was
June comes with the name Jerry as well. Her husband.
June's husband, Jerry. Jerry's a special name.
Yes.
That dog came to me in a dream years ago, and he brought a New York deli container with a watch in it. And I said, thank you. The dog came out of a light. There was light everywhere. I was in bed. And I said, thank you. And I don't know what this means. And the dog ran away. And the week I got that dog, I was like, you're the dog from the dream. What does this mean? I adopted him, and I didn't realize it. 10 years to the day my friend Jerry died of cardiomyopathy, a human person.
Yes.
And then my dog died of cardiomyopathy. It was so weird.
That's
during
uncanny.
that. Yeah. I knew the dog was not going to be with me very long. I heard a voice the night he died. I said to him, you have to go quick and painless and right next to me. That's our deal. Yeah. Whenever you have to go. And I could feel it. Psychic things were happening during this time I had this dog. Weird stuff. I was predicting people's babies and their dead relatives. And that's in my mom's family, but nothing I could do on my own normally. And the night he seized next to me, I heard him he was having a heart attack, and I heard a voice say, my contract is up. You don't need me anymore.
I've done what I've had to do. Yeah.
I looked around. Yeah. I didn't know what it meant. And he was gone. And I learned, I was like, you gave me a contained amount of time in New York. You're right. And then everything picked up. Shows were picking up. My life was picking up. By all kinds of things happened. And I feel like he was like, I got you through this. And I mourned and I grieved. I was like, wow, it was really kind of chilling. The things, the night he died, I found a dime, and the number 10 meant nothing to me. And 3 days later, after he died, I heard 10, Ryan. And I was like, what does 10 mean? And I realized my birthday, the day I got him, my veterinary hospital, 145th Street, all the numbers in my life had added up to 10 forever. And I had never thought of 10 as a special number. But it was, my mom's like, look up your angel number, And I looked it up, and it was like, you're moving on to a new place in your life, and something has been guiding you this whole time. And I was like, it was this dog. He took my sorrow, he literally had an enlarged heart, but a lot of little dogs do. He didn't care about anybody else. He was not friendly to people. He stared at me. He stared through my soul. And the week before he died, I was like, are you going to leave me soon because you think I don't need you anymore? I said those words, and then I heard that voice, and then he died. But
unconditional love is what that is.
They love you more than you love yourself.
Unconditional love, and sometimes more than humans can. Yeah, it's an unconditional situation, in a way, almost like a soulmate in certain ways, which is extraordinary. I notice you have we'll go to a full screenshot here, but you've got a candle that's sort of flickering next to his photo, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't always have that up. I just thought it would look nice at the shop. But yeah, so my friend Abigail Shapiro, Abby Monterey, she's now Abby Monterey. She's on, oh my God, she's on the TV show. We were doing a show off Broadway.
Tell her to come on the show.
I will tell her to come on the show. Doom Patrol. She's on Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah.
She's wonderful. We hung out a couple of weeks ago, but I said to her, the night he died, she randomly texted me this because she had painted a picture. It's in my kitchen. And then she said, can I paint him again? I think I could do better. And she painted this one, and she captured him exactly. Right. And the night he died, she happened to text me.
That's a painting and not a photo?
It's a painting.
Are you able to bring that closer to the screen? That's beautiful.
She took it it was a photo that she looked at. She captured his little expression and everything. It was unbelievable. And she happened to text that night with a joke about him, like, oh, he's a star or whatever. And I was like, he just passed away like an hour ago. I left him at the vet. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I said, no, I have 2 paintings of this whole weird guardian angel of a dog. Because of you, I have paintings.
That's beautiful. Tell us about the room that you're in. Usually we have the guests tell us about the room that they're in. Sort of like Edward R. Murrow, person to person. So we're visiting the home of Lucille Ball and Dizzy Arnaz. Tell us, Lucy, what room are you in?
Oh my God. I love your room. I was looking at all the lights. Well, this spot used to be a really old an IKEA bookshelf that I had in every apartment. That was my best friend, was Tracy's. Got rid of it. I got these shelves and put them up. I put all my books there, some little knickknacks and stuff. So this is like family photos here. That is a Squiggs drawing. Justin, he goes by Squiggs. He draws Broadway shows. That's from getting the band back together. And then there's these other weird random show pictures. There's some Shrek there. That weird headshot one is one of our assistant stage managers in Shrek asked us to bring our oldest headshot. And I have a Caesar cut. I'm in overalls and a turtleneck sweater. And she would do a fake little Sardi's wall, and she'd put it up outside of Chris Eber's dressing room. That was my Sardi's picture. Another bookshelf.
That's cool. That is really, really cool. So then this shot here that we used in our promos, when was this? What was this for?
So that, my friend Damu Malik in LA took that. I was at my best friend Tracy's. That's at Tracy's house. And he's a photographer, and she was like, hey, her house is called Lola. Lola is a very special place. And she's like, everyone at Lola gets free headshots from Damu because he's trying to build his portfolio. And he just took pictures outside. He took 2 or 3 of my favorite pictures. One of them has been in a playbill and everything. So that was several years ago. I've had pictures. Michael Kushner took that one. He lives up the street. That was right before the pandemic.
That was right before
December 2019. Yep.
And it looks like you're saying, are you kidding me? Are you bringing us a pandemic?
No, it's like, I'm not sure about this trip to Oklahoma in March. That's what it's saying.
A little pensive, exactly. It's a great shot. He really captured something great. We
Yeah,
have actually
thanks.
some cool videos too to show of you doing a few cool things, and also photos like these. Tell us
Yeah,
about these.
that's Linedica Now. That's the production of Passing Through up at Goodspeed. This show was actually streaming last month or the month before. It streamed for 3 weeks because this is a show that we were apparently, word on the street was we were supposed to do another out of town this year and then go to Broadway right after that. Obviously, it's all pushed back. But this show is based on the book Walking to Listen, which is also behind me. This guy, Andrew Forsthoefel, who was in his early 20s, walked the entire country in 2011. He started in Pennsylvania, and then he went to Maryland and then down. Sorry, started in Pennsylvania, went up to Maryland and then down and walked through the South. And we play all of the people. He walked to listen. He recorded all these people's stories and voices. And this is Carmen and Diego. And this is a scene in Act 2 where we switch characters all the time. We jump into these other people that he met along the way. And she and I were crossing the border and sleeping on the ground. It was a bit of a number that kind of nodded to immigrants. And at the end, I walk away and she's in a diner because we're learning English. She's in a diner and the last words are, "So that's how we come to live here." Boom. And it was it's one of my favorite. Everything in that show is my favorite. So that's the same show. That's I'm playing a guy based on a real guy. So that's Max Chern in there, who plays Andrew Forsthoefel. This is right before he goes to the desert. I'm playing a character named Paul, and he's Diné, or he's Navajo, and he's come home after his mother passed away. He had left the res. He grew up on the res, left, went up east, had really was at odds with his parents, and his mother died. And he's coming back to rebuild her garden to make his father feel better. And there's this guy recording him. And I start the show as this character, and then I kind of give him a little help to get through the desert. And that's my other headshot. there's Bricks the pig.
This is your corporate shot.
That's my corporate shot for definitely business casual. That's Bricks the pig. You know what's the funny? So that's Shrek, obviously. Yeah. And that sweater, I was getting fitted for the fat suit. They call it the suits with the bean bags and everything to make me larger. And there was a lady. She had to be in her early 80s, sitting in the corner knitting a tiny little thing. And she came up to me, and I was in a bodysuit, and she put it against me. And I said, she goes, "How does that look?" And Tim Hatley, he won a Tony for these costumes.
Yeah.
They were thousands of dollars. He said, "Oh, that looks good. That's great." She goes, "Okay." And I said, Are you knitting the sweater for this pig character?" She goes, "This is Broadway, honey." And went back to the corner. She knit that.
Did she really?
She just hand knit that name. And that sweater, I believe, that's the Duncan pig. Like, all of our costumes are named after us, so they get rented out to various productions around the country. So I had friends in Maryland at Toby's doing this production. I was like, "That's my sweater and my pants."
Wow. Here's another.
Me as Donkey. One of the times I went on. Yeah, I was showing up on a Friday. We had just opened December 14th. I showed up on January 2nd, I think, to my first understudy rehearsal. Now, I had learned it, but not gotten to run through it. And they were like, "You're on."
Yeah.
Probably tonight. So I went on for the whole first weekend. And yeah, they always do your makeup for when you're on for a principal. I did my own. We had several makeup changes throughout the show, but that little chin thing there, I sweat that off like by the end of Act 1.
I sweat that.
That's probably Daniel Breaker's costume. So this is getting the band back together. This is the based on a real guy, scarf-wearing drama teacher. So his name is Leonard. But when these group of actors wrote this show, I came in that next year and created some of my stuff. But they went to New Jersey to Sayreville, and they interviewed people, and they wanted to base a show that was kind of reminiscent of an 80s movie on that town, and a guy who gets fired from Wall Street and goes back home to get his band back together. And this was a real guy in a classroom, a drama teacher who was wearing a scarf.
Wow.
So they thought, well, that's such a throwback. So I'm actually doing, it's an audition scene where we're auditioning for the last member of the band. And I'm doing a very dramatic monologue, but it's the lyrics to Jesse's Girl. And I'm hoping they don't notice.
Jesse's Girl.
Everybody's comments. By the way, someone put my Norman is an elder dog. Norman's my dad's name.
Really?
Yeah. He's an elder dog too.
I think that's Jennifer Barry in
Barry.
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
As they get older, and you'll do anything for them because they just love you so much.
Absolutely. Here's another shot.
So that's Nick Styler. Yeah. So when we did the show Out of Town, this character just introduced, there were two bands that are rival, and they're fighting in this show. There's Juggernaut and Mouthfeel. And so, like, I was in the band Mouthfeel as another character. And so every time we entered the stage, you'd hear this bum, bum, how does your mouth feel? And everyone would kind of laugh because it's so corny. And this character, I would switch into this guy just to introduce that the Juggernaut band, our heroes, have played their first wedding. And then they wrote the character, they started to write him a song, the one that I wrote the rest of after we did this Out of Town, but this is Broadway. So this is, I think, the stage manager or someone actually, Cherie Tay, who is, she's a stage manager of Hadestown, and she does these videos now. She does a lot of voiceover. People have probably seen her do your countdown to places and all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
She took these pictures, and I was glad because I didn't think they made any of the promo shots. But that's Nick Styler.
That is a great shot. Here's another.
Oh yeah, the same headshot from right before the pandemic. Michael was great. Shot. Michael Kushner was like, he's like, what if you just took the tie off?
And just sort of like pulled it behind you? And
he does what you do when you talked about conversation.
Right.
The whole shoot is a conversation.
Right.
And then he just starts to shoot when he gets...
It puts you at ease.
Things, yeah.
We have a couple of videos here that we're going to show, and we're going to pop one on now, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Actually, this one you're going to be surprised by because we dug this one out of the archives. This is a really cool one too. And then I think the two that you're aware of, we're going to show as well. But here's Ryan doing his thing, and it's really cool. Enjoy, folks.
Oh my gosh.
What fresh hell is this? It's the televised abyss. Will the Christmas season never be through? Now the shiny bells still ring and the happy people sing. Everything's green and red, I'm feeling blue. All the trees are brown in this silver tinsel town, and the storefront windows glow in every hue. Let the color wheel unroll, gray to black inside my soul. Everything's green and red, I'm feeling blue. Every sickly sweet song is a saccharine holiday hug. Yet I still hum along. Well, spin the chance once again. I see no goodwill toward men, for between commercials nothing is new. 'Cause there's such a dearth of peace on earth. Everything's green and red, I'm feeling good. Green and red, I'm feeling blue.
That was fantastic. Tell us about that. A little surprise there for you.
Yeah. And I recently saw that footage in only the last year or so. I did that show. It's called Striking 12 by Groove Lily, and they did it at Good Theater in Maine, in Portland, Maine.
Beautiful there. Isn't Portland great? I love Portland.
Oh, that's where I almost moved during my midlife crisis. And for some
spot.
reason, the dog kept me here. I was like, I can't move for some reason. I don't know why. This dog is keeping me rooted here. But that show, I flew out. They had to fly me out a day early because Sandy, the Superstorm Sandy, hit the next day.
Yes, and that went all the way up the coast.
Yeah,
that was a horrific.
I recall it hitting there, and but that show, it was a simple show. It's usually done by Groove Lily, and that's the beginning of the show where I'm the what is the character's name? He's sometimes the man who's had it rough, or the man who's having a rough time, or But he it's just him having a really daunting going into the holiday season, and that the band was great, the cast was wonderful, the theater was so beautiful, and I fell in love with Portland, Maine.
I've done several TV shoots. It was really cool. We did a TV shoot in Portland where I was the host, and it was this half-hour national health and wellness show, and they brought the doctor in. And sometimes, like they do in Hollywood, they do in California, they do in New York, in that area too, sometimes they'll, some of the people who live there, especially on beautiful Casco Bay that's there, they will loan the use of their house for TV shoots and film shoots.
Oh.
So I was hired to be the host, and then they brought the doctor in, and it was a full crew, and we shot the actual, it was like an interview part that I was doing and hosting as well, walking and talking, in this beautiful multi-million-dollar home that this older couple had that was on the edge of Casco Bay, with their big, wide, beautiful bay window that faced the bay, and these white couches, and it was a beautiful, New England living room, and we filmed there, and it was extraordinary. And I was like, we're like, wait a minute, you actually let this crew, because the crew's coming in with cables and equipment and dollies and jib cameras and all of the technical stuff, and they're like, oh, sure. So the producer is a friend of mine who lives in Portland, Maine. I've done a lot of work for him. He goes, Jim, of course, do you know what we're paying them to use this living room? And then I think the house was for sale because the husband was I think he was moving from Portland, Maine to Hartford, Connecticut to become a vice president for Aetna Insurance Company in Hartford. So, but that was nice. Portland.
Do you like seafood?
Lobster and chowder.
You like lobster?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. The neighbor downstairs gave us free lobster twice a week because he had to work he was in law school, but he would also work for a guy named Captain Ernie sometimes, who was a guy he used to work with on the shore, and would bring us lobster twice a week. I was just...
It's always Captain Ernie.
Always Captain Ernie. But there were so many lobsters there that their dog would run into the water in the bay and sometimes bring one back.
The fresh Maine lobster. That's why I tell June, now that she's in Maryland, we're going to have to go down to visit her and have some of those Maryland blue crab cakes.
Crabs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they'll send those across the country too from Maryland.
They're delicious. Yeah, they're delicious. That's cool. We have another video here to share with our lovely audience. Comments coming in here. Great clips. Fantastic voice from Christine Clifton, North Carolina. Claps from June. Mark Sanders says, grumpy guy.
Mark Sanders, that's my partner who made those videos, who had all the equipment, who
Fantastic.
All the art decoration.
Oh, that's awesome. So we would love Mark if Mark does this.
And Mark is an actor and a singer and a carpenter, and he has a Barry Manilow show.
We should have
music of Barry Manilow, one voice.
Have Mark come on the show. We would love it.
He'll come on the show.
Yeah, have him come on the show. Yeah, it's all casual, freestyle, conversational, nothing nutty. Well, then again, I don't know about that part. Nothing that is depressing. It's all
nothing depressing.
It's all levity, positivity. Yeah. Here's another, and this is again the character of Nick Schuyler, and this says Nick Schuyler, nature is.
So it's this is
preface
Nick Schuyler's. I did the first video I did was the song from the show. I just changed the monologues, and this song I rewrote to be about spending the time in Florida. Nature is everywhere.
Nature is everywhere.
He's kind of he's a guy who really puts his best foot forward. And in the show, he's singing a song about love, and then his wife has left him. So that's why he has a breakdown. He's always having a breakdown. So, we'll see.
So we're going to meet up now with Ryan's alter ego, Nick Schuyler. Here he is.
Okay.
Hello, young nature lovers, and welcome back to Quarantine Hours. I am the Nick Schuyler, and I'm crooning you from deep inside the swampy bush of Florida. We're on the northern edge of the Everglades, and the flora and fauna here is some of the most breathtaking and terrifying in the country. Don't let the beauty fool you. There are several wild things here that are as dangerous as they are enchanting. So relax, have a creamed corn colada, and enjoy all the gifts that surround you. I know I do. Look to the ocean, feel those warm breezes, sit on the sand, and you just got fleas. 6, 7, 12. Take a look around you. Nature is everywhere. There's so much to see and do, as long as scaly things don't kill me. The flowers with morning dew. Nature is everywhere. The trees tell secrets too, if you just take the time to listen. Ow! Hold out your loving hands and animals will love you in return. Embrace the world we're given, and in your heart you'll feel the burn. The fire ants! Ow! Oh God! Oh Jesus! It burns! It burns! Suckle at Mother Nature's breast. Nature is everywhere. So let's all give our best to all other creatures, great or small. Please don't feed the birds, for they might peck you in your face. Careful where you tread, for you may find a python that's invasive. Nature is everywhere. Nature is freaking everywhere. Sometimes nature just wants to be left alone, you know. Oh, oh God, but not this thing. Ooh, what the hell is that thing? Ooh. I don't want to make any sudden movements. Oh, I'm no wildlife expert here, but I believe that thing is extinct, right? Oh, God! Okay, it moved closer! Oh, God! I friggin' hate Florida! People just buy things as pets, and then they just let them go in the wild. Half the shit here will kill you. There was a creeping vine that strangled a woman in Tampa last week. Yeah, I swear to God, she was choked out by a flowering plant. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Nope. Nope.
Did I mention that this episode is sponsored by the Florida Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, I'll drink to that.
I think they won't be. I think they won't be sponsoring anymore. That is funny. That is funny.
His album's coming out soon. It's the same song. That's the joke with all different lyrics.
So what was what kind of question is what was the inspiration? You were surrounded by the inspiration for that song. I mean, that was like.
Yeah, I was going to do a
series. To shoot that?
Well,
that's funny.
It didn't take me long to write it, and then we shot it all in one day.
I noticed none of our Florida contingent is saying anything. Arizona,
I love Florida,
North Carolina, Canada, South Africa, although South Africa has quite a few wild things running around there too.
Well, I thought it was funny because I love Florida. I love going down there.
Anne's in Jacksonville.
That
was so much fun and
Fort Myers.
Oh, so true.
Well, yeah, I think it's hilarious. I love manatees. I love lizards. I love animals down there. I love the weather. I like the trees and stuff. Yeah. But there's always something attacking someone. An alligator's grabbing a dog, or a tree snake is. But I was going to do a series of videos, but it didn't take long. We shot it in one day. It's just that it's a lot of setup, and we had to find the right time to do it. And the first one was really about he's back with his wife from the show, and she's left him again during the pandemic. And so I thought, well, I'll do a follow up where he's like, he's never enjoying anything. He thinks he is. He's trying to be something.
How do you describe him? How do you describe Nick?
I always say he's a passionate ne'er-do-well. Like, he's so passionate about what he's doing, and he always entertains at the bar, and it often goes wrong. But
how much of Nick is Ryan?
Not a lot, actually. It is super fun to play because I think clearly my I don't know. I mean, as an actor, the tools that come easy to me were fun to put on this character, but he's not really like me.
Do you love comedy?
I love comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the show, so I do a number. It was that tune, but different words in the show. I could make up a new. After I was screaming and having a huge breakdown about my wife leaving, I would say, "Join me tomorrow night for singles night," and I would add like Goldschlager daiquiris and cornhole for a cure. Like, I try to find the worst things that you would ever do on a singles night, like Long Island iced teas, bottomless Long Island iced teas, and peel and eat shrimp.
Kathleen Holland says, "Fun stuff, Ryan. Thanks from New Hampshire." New Hampshire. And that was so much fun. Could be true. Anne in Florida. Juanita, South Africa. Tears streaming. That was hilarious. Smiles from Merlin in Canada. So cool, Ryan. A mix of chillaxing music and comedy. North Carolina. And Maureen in Arizona says, "Do you think I can get Nick Styler to sing at my retirement party in December in Arizona?"
I would love that. I just need to play the keyboard better. I haven't played in years, and that was in the show I was that's another fun part, because I was the conductor, the keyboardist was playing, and I was kind of finger syncing with him. I was playing the chords and stuff, but I was not mic'd, and sometimes he'd throw in extra things, and I'm like, I have to learn how to listen to what he was doing.
Was there a keyboardist next to you on the other side?
No, in the pit.
He did it
in
later.
The pit. It was
Yeah. Wow, that is funny.
I knew where I was playing, but yeah.
And there was no green screen. That was all really there, right?
That was is it Saul Palmetto palm trees. Is that what they're,
yeah. Yeah. We've got another one. Second Chances 2.
Yeah, that's like the follow-up to the actual one, the one I did on Broadway. These are the lyrics from Broadway, but I added a different circumstance to it. Oh gosh. It's the first one I did in Florida.
This is the repeat and the return appearance of Nick Styler.
Nick Styler.
Hello, young lovers, and welcome to Quarantine Hours from my uncle's tax shelter here in sunny and lizard-filled Florida. I am the Nick Styler, and I'll be crooning you into the wee hours of the lockdown. It'll be just like the D-Nice house party, but it's just one song, and it's me. My ex-wife and I were recently back together, and nothing tests a relationship like sheltering in place for an indeterminate amount of time. We didn't pass that test. So relax, have a chicken broth Cape Codder, and never give up. I know I won't. Look at me, darling, and you'll see my heart in pieces. But give me just a moment, 'cause I'm down on my knees. 6, 7, 12. Baby, I'm begging you for second chances. The kids all miss you too, so please forgive and please don't sue me. Like 3-day-old French fries need second chances. Give me another try and I'll pretend my brother isn't with you. That so long look in your eyes took me by surprise, just like a new babe. And as you said your goodbyes, I wanted to scream, see you next Tuesday! Like your attempts to exercise need second chances. Online parkour, am I right? I didn't mean to spy, but I just had to know where I got this rash. It burns! That screw you look on your face, it sent me to space, just like a rocket. As you packed your suitcase, I wanted to scream, hey, she stole my wallet! Hug her up. Baby, I'm begging you for a second chance. Second chances. Can you just take off the face mask for a second so we can talk? Chicky flicky. You took all the toilet paper and I have to wash my ass in the tub. You replaced all my Zycam with Smarties. I know you did. I have to take all the precautions by myself. You even hid the soap. And then you would sneak out to the bars for spring break and you'd come back all drunk and angry and you'd boop my nose with your unsanitized hand. You're just like, boop, like nothing. Like, boop. You said, boop. You got me an unwrapped toothbrush from Walmart, but I still love you. It's Join me tomorrow for last packet of ramen night. 6, 7, 12. Ooh, yeah, second chances.
I seem really unstable, don't I? That made me drink watching it.
That is hilarious. That is fantastic.
Thanks.
Do you see a development of that character further? I mean, that's such a Saturday Night Live SCTV type of skit. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because people were asking him when the show closed. Thank you so much.
Look at these responses. My side,
wah
wah wah. My
I
side
want it to
hurts
make
from
people
laughing.
feel good. I want people to laugh. People had asked me to do a spin-off, and I was like, well, maybe I'll do a cabaret one night. The big obstacle is that I don't play the keyboard that well, and so but that might be funny if someone's behind a curtain actually playing my keyboard at the end. The thing is, I thought, well, it would be the same song, just different lyrics every time, but then I'd have to figure out, like, well, that will get old. So
I thought it was funny how you would say the funny line and then just, as the professional Nick is, go right back into the you wouldn't miss any of that.
He's trying to keep it together. He's like, this is where I jazz riff, and then it's just not happening. On Broadway, between each of those verses is a scene where you get to know different characters. And it was hilarious because sometimes in rehearsal, I would throw in something new or they'd say something new, and then kind of looking at each other, and they would make sure I was done breaking down, and then they'd go on with the scene, and I had to listen for their cues. And yeah.
That's hilarious. That's really funny. So how does it, when you watch it, what are you feeling when you're watching? It's funny, isn't it?
I think it's fun. It's hard too, because you're watching yourself going, oh, that didn't line up. I should have done this. But there's a point where you just have to be happy with what you're doing. Because I can pick myself apart forever, which is why when I'm in the waiting room, I'm like this. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. How's that? How's the lighting? But now you sing, right?
Yes, and I've done acting. Actually, I was on Law and Order and this show called Lights Out on FX, which was really cool. So yeah, dabbled in all of that. And but I liked levity too, as much as what was really interesting about what you did was there are people that are like that.
Yeah.
Well, that are out there doing that, and that's exactly the shtick.
It's funny because Paul Schaefer came to the show, and I was like, oh my God, he's this guy. Well, he's not this guy as far as he can't keep his life together. But Paul Schaefer was like, you got a lot of laughs on that show with that part. But I wanted him to, I have a picture that I still need to get from a photographer of me and him. But I thought, yeah, there's all these people who, and it was a diner called the Pank, which was a real diner, the Peter Pank diner in Sayreville. So people that came from Sayreville knew that diner. And it was like those guys who host karaoke, and they're a little cocky, and they think, you're welcome, everyone, I'm here. Then this just happened, like his wife has left him, and all the scenes between are people getting together. The first one was Mary Lou Henner getting together with Jay Kleitz. And so he's watching all these people flirt.
That is funny.
While he's going through this.
So what do you have coming up? What are some of the cool things that are coming up? I know, with a pen.
Yeah, well, the end of this glass.
Did you just get a hot flash or something?
I did. I just
got a hot flash. Yeah. Yeah. What's the name of what's in the glass, you said?
Oh, it's Elijah Craig.
So we have another special guest, folks. Elijah Craig is joining us. And how's Elijah doing?
Elijah shows up when you need a little help getting through your day. Elijah shows up to make you laugh at nothing.
Her cup runneth over.
Yeah.
Oh, let's toast while you have it. We always toast with our guests. Toast, toast, toast. Cheers, cheers. Slancha, all the rest. Yeah. Salud. It's funny because it looks like the same stuff.
It looks like we're both like, stage liquor, where it was iced tea on stage.
It's iced tea and on a soap opera.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever see yourself acting in a soap opera?
No, I'm not hot enough. I don't have the jawline. I was like, I've seen soap operas. I'm like, oh gosh, these people are chiseled right from marble and right on.
If there was one, which one would you want to be on? Of all the ones past or present?
I don't watch them. They bring back fond memories, of being home from school, but then you're usually sick too and eating soup or cereal in the middle of the day. You know what? All My Children, is that still on?
All my children.
This is how much I don't know. I want to be one of the children. I don't know.
General Hospital. I think the ones
General Hospital.
I think the ones that remain are Bold and the Beautiful,
Who's Guiding
Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. I think all my children's gone. I think. I
never saw myself on that on one of those, but no, I don't know what's coming up because it'll be interesting to see as these. I was supposed to do a reading of this new musical Joy based on Joy Mangano and her story.
Oh, yeah, with the hangers and QVC.
Yeah, her. We did our reading, and we were supposed to do one last year.
From Long Island.
Yep, she's from Long Island. And Distant Thunder will be happening again at the Lyric in March of next year, and that's a really, really special show. I was supposed to do a show at Cape Playhouse, actually, last summer in August, Murder on the Orient Express. As far as I know, that's pushed off as well. So, and then Passing Through is floating around, and I don't know. I don't know what's coming up. I just shot, you know what's funny? I shot a little short film in Connecticut last weekend for the kid who played our baby Shrek.
Oh, really?
Shrek. He is 22 and graduated Dartmouth, and he's a director and a writer, and he saw Passing Through and was like, I haven't seen you in a while. You want to come out? I need some more directing film credit stuff. Will you come out and do something? And I said, yeah. And I told him, I'll be honest, I thought your mom was going to pick me up from the train station because I still think of you as a kid.
As a kid. You know, so what town, what area were you in?
He's in Westport.
So you were just there shooting, huh? Wow.
Yeah. And it was a short it was a sketch. It was so fun. And then I'm thinking what else? There's some things that I'm trying to think of what else is going on. It's funny, the auditions like come and go. Gone in for a couple things for New Amsterdam and kind of waiting for that to swing back. But yeah.
What was it like being on Blue Bloods? That must have been cool, huh?
That was so dreamy. I ththought I was going to pass out.
What a crew! That's a top shelf show, isn't it?
They're the coolest people, and then my whole scene was with Tom Selleck and Lenny Venito and Bob Cloesy, and they're on everything. Like Lenny Venito's in everything, and so I remember though we rehearsed, and what happened? We were rehearsing, and Tom Selleck was like, "I think I would shake your hand here." I'm like, "I think you would. I guess." And so that added an extra line. I had like a few lines, and then they pulled me into hair and makeup. They were like, "You're looking too young." I'm like, "I'm the right age for this character." They're like, so I said, "Look, I have a forehead that can go from 25 to 45 depending on how you do my hair." So they slicked it back, and but I came back, and Tom Selleck was like, "You're a whole different person. I don't even recognize you." But he is so kind. They were everyone on the crew there, they were just so nice, and I felt so special. I'm like, I have 4 lines, and you're treating me like a star. Matter of fact, I had a stand-in when we would go sit off to the side. The stand-ins would get in, and I said to my stand-in, I'm like, "You could just do this part." Yeah. I have full confidence you could do this part. I'm glad I'm doing it. Yeah. But they're super talented people who are,
So that's a cool experience, huh?
I loved it. And it runs all the time. So
yeah, absolutely. What is there anything that you haven't done that you would like to do? You love more television? Do you love film, movies, or is your heart and soul in theater?
I love the theater, but I would love to do more film and television. I would love to. I've done like indie films and some indie pilots with some really great people and films that won things at festivals. But I'd really love to do Distant Thunder. It'll be March of next year. I would love to do a feature film. Yeah. And I'm not the actor who's like, I have to be the lead. I'm like, no, I just want a really cool part, 3 scenes.
Just to be in it. Yeah.
Something interesting.
What about a sitcom? If a sitcom came your way?
Now, I love old sitcoms. I've been watching some of these strange channels that you get when you just turn on the TV.
Antenna TV,
Cozy TV. Now I'll watch these old sitcoms, and man,
were they good. We're watching on the
are they good?
Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Even like there's Golden Girls. Roseanne is on. We used to watch, everything in the 80s. I remember Facts of Life and Different Strokes and all these shows. And I remember thinking they were so funny. Maude. There was a clip someone posted of Maude recently.
Yeah.
That had Rue McClanahan in it. Sometimes I'll watch some of that old stuff just to see
the
like
Jeffersons, All in the Family.
I loved the Jeffersons.
Good Times.
All in the Family. Oh, Good Times.
Yeah.
A guy I worked with, his girlfriend, Lara Jill was in Give Me a Break. So I started to revisit that.
With Mel Carter.
Carter.
Audra Magini, Bewitched. I mean, all of them. Twilight Zone.
I mean, I love sitcoms, but some of the newer ones I'll watch and I don't laugh as much as I used to. And I'm like, am I just ahead of it? Have I seen it all?
Some of it's not as funny.
Modern Family's great.
Yeah.
There are some moments they have. Yeah.
There was an innocence, I think, in a lot of the situation comedies previous you could relate to because they were more basic in terms of some of the situations that they would get in. So there's a relatability to them. So that's why all these shows, I Love Lucy and all the rest, stand the test of time because they're relatable people, relatable characters, relatable situations about the plumbing overflowing or, the things that happen, but happen more exaggerated to the characters that we see on the Dick Van Dyke Show and Mary Tyler Moore and all these classic beloved shows.
There's a
who's coming on the show Tuesday?
Who?
Robin from Batman. Burt Ward.
Really? Burt Ward? Are you serious?
Tuesday. Yeah.
That's awesome. I told my mom Melissa Manchester was on. All I remember is Melissa Manchester's albums in my house.
Yeah.
But these these sitcoms, I'd want it to be kind of edgy and funny. I think more of a Netflix, Hulu comedy because there's formula to network TV now. The cop shows, there's a certain way you speak and get things across. In the sitcoms, there's the joke and the setup and the characters they're like it's a set almost.
Yeah.
Whereas on Netflix or cable and things like that, you can you're a little more free. I think I'm made for that world a little more.
Marty
some
Thompson
of those
said
shows.
you would have been great in Cheers in Boston.
Cheers. I would see back. Those are the sitcoms I think
Gary says Seinfeld.
I would have been a child.
You would have been good on Seinfeld, like a friend of Seinfeld's or something. Yeah. The Nick character would have been cool on Seinfeld.
He's someone who would have been on Seinfeld.
Who would he have been friends with, George Costanza or Seinfeld, or would he have been another son of what's his name of Costanza's father?
Was
Stiller.
that
Jerry Stiller?
Yeah. Or he would be who's the tall guy? Bizarre.
Oh, Kramer's
friend. He'd be like, I got this friend. I got this great friend. And Jerry'd be like, what's going on?
His name is Nick Styler.
Yeah. And it would all be the camera be on Jerry making fun of it. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus like, oh my God, how do we get out of here?
Did you know that her family's part of the Dreyfus Fund?
No.
The multi-billion-dollar Dreyfus Fund? That's the Dreyfus.
No. She's that.
That's what
Dreyfus?
I had.
She's one of those Dreyfus.
That's what I had heard. Yeah.
I love her.
She's fantastic.
She's so good.
Yeah. Could you have been on Will and Grace, Friends, any of those? You think?
I liked those shows. I would love to be on SNL. That's kind of that was always a dream. So,
Lorne Michaels, if you're watching this evening, actually, one of my friends is the stage manager for Saturday Night Live. Gina.
Really?
Yeah, she's the stage manager. You see her with the headset on when they go to a wide shot. And you see her, and she's always directing. And when they show like the scenes changing as they go to commercial,
before commercial, yeah,
and you'll see her with the headshot on, and she's like directing the actors and actresses over to the next scene quickly to go over. She is
that's her friend.
She's the floor manager there. Oh. Yeah,
I did 2 episodes as a glorified extra. I played. This is funny. I played Eric McCormick. Once it was a Golden Globe sketch.
I could see like a resemblance, like you could be a cousin or something, a brother.
We were supposed to be at the Golden Globes, and it was Megan Mullally hosting, so we were just supposed to be at the table. I don't think we were seen. Because you do 2 shows. You do an 8:00 show, and they see what works, and then they'll cut sketches before the 11:30. So you wait to see if your sketch is listed, and then you can leave. So I did the Megan Mullally one. I don't think I got any camera time, but I also was on one with Clay Aiken and Christina Aguilera. And I was in a sketch where Jimmy Fallon actually crawled on my lap. It was an American Idol sketch. And then Rachel Dratch crawled on the lap of the woman next to me, and they were yelling kind of rude stuff at Christina, who was auditioning, and they cut that sketch, which I thought was hilarious. Years later, I did a Capital One commercial with Jimmy Fallon, and I was like, we met, but you would never remember, and it's totally okay.
What's in your wallet?
Yeah, it was a doo-wop. He did all those different musical sketches. I was in the doo-wop group. I'm right on his left shoulder.
That is funny. Wow.
But SNL is always, I don't know, it's always been a dream. I had a sketch group.
You never know, right? Yeah. I mean, not just that character, but any of the characters you could be.
I did an audition that I put on tape because Peter Scolari and I were doing a play together. He came to see my sketch group. He goes, you need to audition. I know this guy who writes for them. And I did it for him, and I sent it in. And then that guy got an Emmy nomination like the next day. I'd never heard anything, but I was like, it's fine. They got me. CD, tape, whatever.
So what are some of the things that continue to inspire you to do this work, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you, I have an answer for this. One of my favorite things is, and we talked about working with kids, and I used to teach and stuff. I work with an organization called Only Make Believe. It's a nonprofit started by Dina Hammerstein, the Hammersteins estate, and we do interactive and therapeutic theater with kids in hospitals. I've worked with them this is my 6th year. We go into hospital sites all over this city, and we have kids. We have psych units. It's very physically impaired. Everyone in between, inpatient, outpatient. And we do these 1-hour shows, and we also have adjusted shows for various abilities. And the pandemic obviously stopped that, but we went to digital. So we've done 5 of our shows digitally. I just had one come out. I'm the caterpillar in Sherlock in Wonderland or something. That's one of our shows, Sherlock in Wonderland. That's what it is. I did one called Briar Rose early in the pandemic. So we've done that. We're doing live videos with some of our kids, an all-stars kind of thing. And so they can see us and interact, because we were some of their only outlets. We're really there to make them forget they're in a hospital.
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah. That's levity, right? That's
levity. And the things we do, sometimes the things you do because you want to be in a show, and you want some glory. There's a lot of grace with it, and it's healing. There's a lot more that just performing or acting can do, and I've seen that over and over. We have kids that don't speak sometimes, and that their caregivers will say they only talk to you, or that kid was in pain when they came in, and they're suddenly interacting, and that's something that's it's special to be in a show and to be on Broadway and have an opening night or performing. But sometimes kids will show up to that show, your Broadway show, and you'll get a letter that says, I barely get to leave home, or have these issues in my life, and it was nice to go see your show, let alone working with these kids in a hospital. Yeah. It's been really amazing.
That's as has this conversation, my friend. Do you know we've chatted for 2 hours? Every single person says that. They're like, oh my God, it doesn't feel like it. It felt like it was, 45 minutes, whatever. Make it so comfortable and try to make it, welcoming for everybody. Yeah, we did a 2-hour production here, and this was fantastic. It was awesome having you on the show.
Oh my God, I'm so glad.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I hope that the show met whatever expectations that you had, and that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you, Ryan.
It was an honor. I feel so at ease, and I could go on for another hour. I want to talk more about genealogy. There's so much.
That was a good beginning, right?
Yeah. All that stuff and who we are, which is luckily some of the shows I've done have gotten to touch upon that, like Passing Through. It's voices of people all over the country and that don't get heard,
Marty said you did a small part in Forrest Gump. So cool.
I did. I was hired to. The funny thing is, the iconic shot of that show was him taking the picture of the Lincoln Memorial. I was hired with this other guy to jump in front of his camera and scream at him, "We won't go to war." And we did it a few times, and they said, let's do it without you two. And then that became the iconic shot. But you can see me walking down the street. My hair was about this long. They plug out. I'm in the front when they unplug the things. I'm kind of throughout, but just standing there. reaction.
That's, hey, you're in it, right?
It was fun.
The key
I
is
talked to him. He was the most kind,
yeah,
wonderful guy.
that's what they, yeah.
He said, open up your coat. And he said, I think I wore that in high school. And matter of fact, he was so warm with me that later a guy hid behind me during a scene. I had a sign, I won't go to war. And this guy's like, how do you know Tom? I'm like, Tom who? And he goes, Tom Hanks. You were just talking to him. It looks like you were old friends. And I said, no. He's like, I'm his assistant. And I'll just hide behind you to get in the scene. I thought, that's a testament to how kind he was, that we look like old friends.
Exactly. You know? That's so beautiful when that happens. I want to show you some of the levity here. Juanita in South Africa says, this was a fantastic conversation. Thank you, Brian, for spending time with us and sharing your stories. Keep well. Merlin in Canada, thanks. Good luck in your next adventures. Gary in Iowa. Lovely Ryan, thanks for spending your evening with us. I hope to see you in a live show in the future.
Definitely.
And Jennifer says, do you have a book out? Would you write a book?
I thought I'm not that interesting.
Kathleen, he won't write the book. Nick Styler will. Kathleen Holland said in New Hampshire says, I've enjoyed this. Thanks for having Ryan Duncan. He's a good guest. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm honored,
Kathleen. And I hope you'll be back regularly, Kathleen. We are here every night. Tomorrow we won't be for Mother's Day, but just want to show everybody that on Monday, talk about a Hollywood legend, Ruta Lee is going to be here.
Wow. Look at her.
What a pose, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about striking a pose, Ruta Lee.
That's one of the best Hollywood star pictures I've ever seen.
That is a great one. And then Robin on Tuesday from Batman. And then J.D. Barker, the New York Times and international best-selling crime, horror, thriller, suspense author and novelist is going to be here. Cool stuff, huh? And we're just getting started. So 1 year anniversary, over 400 episodes we've done of this show. I can't believe it. 7 days a week.
You're amazing.
We've outlasted most sitcoms and dramas and Broadway shows sometimes, other than Phantom and the others. This has been my first time, won't be my last. Thank you, Kathleen, in New Hampshire. We love New Hampshire. Mark Sanders says, what a joy. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate that. And anybody who has not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, they should all do that. Right, Ryan?
Jim, you're a joy. You should subscribe. And you really are. It's been so fun and comforting. And your shirt is awesome. It remains awesome.
Yours is cool, too.
I think this is my grandfather's.
Can we trade?
We'll be in different shirts. I didn't know where it came from, and I saw a picture of my grandfather recently with it. And I was like, that's, I guess, where I got it.
Is that really?
Yeah. I love the lanterns you have as a kind of backdrop as well.
Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. We put some work into our set here, our home studio. This has been a marvelous way to spend this most special weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to our beautiful mothers. Thank you, Ryan, for such a fun evening. Love your name, as it is the name of the most important person in my life, my granddaughter.
I love it.
Yes.
I love when girls are named Ryan, too.
June says, Ryan, hope to see you and Jim sometime for lobster.
We'll do a seafood meal.
And Marty Thompson says, don't stop performing. You're funny, alter ego.
Thank you.
Ryan says,
you guys are amazing.
You and Nick sure made this a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Ryan. Fantastic conversation. Thank you for spending time with us, sharing your stories. Thank you, Ryan. And
all these wonderful people from all over. I've been reading their comments as we go along.
Thanks. Good luck in your next adventures. And a few more here. Let's see. Maureen says in Arizona, JMS Live is addicting. Kathleen, whose first time is this. That's wonderful. And what a joy from Mark. This was awesome, my friend. And we'll keep the porch light on for you. Welcome you back anytime. Tell everybody you know some of those names you mentioned. We'll welcome them on as guests and spread the word about the show. We would love that.
I will absolutely do that. You're fantastic. And it's been so wonderful to be with you tonight.
Oh, it was a
Saturday
pleasure.
Night.
You as well. High five.
High five.
All right. All right. Let's do our DNA. Maybe we're cousins.
We could be. We should look on there and see if we're a distant cousin. Yeah.
You be well. And there was somebody else that
too.
was watching tonight that just wanted to say, have a good night, and he enjoyed it. Mr. George Burns was in the house tonight.
George Burns, what an honor.
Yeah, I tell you, when you have God on your side.
Really? Oh, God, you devil.
Yes. With his cigar and everything. Great dapper.
Cigar.
He's sort of my Ed McMahon every night. He's always here joining us.
One day he'll speak and you'll be like, okay.
Yeah, he's union, so he's union, so he'll want to collect.
Okay.
It's like, I've been your sidekick for a year now, Jim. Pay up.
I get residuals from this.
I'll pay him in cigars.
He'll take that.
Kathleen is now a Lovety, which is wonderful.
Lovety. I'm a Lovety.
Jennifer yes, you are. Jennifer Barry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Fun night. Thank you, Ryan. Christine in North Carolina. Ryan, thanks so much for sharing so much of your career life with us. Enjoyed the video clips. You had terrific stories, lovely candle with your Jerry painting behind you. You are a great Lovety.
You're a Lovety. Thank you, Christine, Amy, Maureen, Juanita, Sherry. Oh my gosh, everybody.
Sherry Larson. Thank you, Ryan, for all the laughter. That's what we do, folks. If you're sampling us for the first time, we always have a good time on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. It's like being on a modern talk show and entertainment lifestyle show of today, sprinkled in with being on like Merv and Mike and Dick Cavett and Carson, sort of sprinkle in there too. All rolled into one. This was a blast. Now go stretch those legs. I hope you had dinner already.
I had a little bit. I had something. I made stewed chicken, one of my new recipes. Yeah.
You know, there's a theme here with the chicken.
I had more chicken tonight.
Chicken. See?
Maltese chicken.
It's like,
good things happen when a chicken's around.
You have felt guilty not taking that role. So for the rest of your life, you've had to have chicken once a week.
I should send you the Lovety chicken. I'll find a Lovety chicken.
A Lovety chicken. We'll put it in the Lovety cookbook. Lovety and Laughter, great show. Amy, good stuff. And Anne in Southern California says, such a great night. Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
You
guys are fantastic.
Good times, right? Good vibe. Created a nice community here on our show. It's a blast. You be well. Yes.
One
cheers.
day I'll learn where the camera is.
Did you finish that or is
no? It was a very slow pour because I didn't want to. I mean, it'd be 4 hours later and suddenly.
Mark says you make a mean chicken.
I do. I've made various chickens for Mark. Whole chicken, half chicken, quarter chickens, chicken pieces. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And the Maltese chicken.
And a Maltese chicken. That will be that. I'm going to. That could be the recipe I've made up. It's kind of Ethiopian Burberry, but I've added other spices and some maybe this will be my Maltese chicken.
See, I see those wheels turning.
Yeah.
We're always inspiring on our show, my friend.
What could have been.
What could have been. What might be. Stay tuned. We will have you back. And again, thoroughly enjoyed it. And you have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day weekend. And this was a blast, my friend. We'll see you again soon, okay?
My pleasure. I'll see you again soon.
You be well.
You too. Bye, Jim. Bye, everybody.
We hate saying goodbye, so we just say, see you later.
See you later. See you soon.
You got it. All right. That was Ryan Duncan. Yes, cookbook soon. We are actually working on one with our show here too, the Lovety Cookbook. And we're going to be soliciting some recipes from our Loveties, if you'd like to be in the cookbook, and all the other cool things we're doing. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This was awesome. I just want to show you some of the cool people. Ruta Lee, Hollywood legend Ruta Lee, is with us on Monday. That's going to be really amazing. Live from Hollywood legend. And then Tuesday, J.D. Barker, he is a New York Times and international best-selling author of suspense and thriller novels and so much more. His work is seen in 150 countries around the world. He has multiple books. He's done collaborations with James Patterson and Stephen King and Spielberg and so many others. We're doing the show with him on Tuesday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. He is so popular and so busy, and his schedule is so tight that he couldn't do a night show with us, when we're regularly scheduled at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So we're doing a special show on Tuesday at 1 in the afternoon Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, with J.D. Barker here exclusively. He's not the easiest person to get because he is in such high demand. So this is kind of really exclusive. It's something very, very special. So we're going to work around his schedule and actually do an extra episode, a special bonus episode of the Jim Masters Show live with JD Barker this Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, live, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you miss it live, I know sometimes you like to participate live, it will be in the archives. All 400 plus episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series are available in the archives at Jim Masters TV. Guests from all walks of life. We always have a good time here. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And we say happy Mother's Day to my beautiful mother as well. There I am in her arms. And there we are today. My beautiful mother, Helen. Love her very much. And hopefully, to all the moms out there, you have a beautiful Mother's Day weekend as well. A couple more guests that are going to be joining us as we speak. We have, oh boy, composer Jamie Lozano is joining us on Wednesday. And then the terrific actor and more, Nicholas Facelli is going to be with us. And of course, Tuesday night, Burt Ward, who played Robin on Batman. He is with us this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Check our YouTube channel. You can see all the times, and also our Facebook page, Jim Masters TV. And you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and Twitch at Jim Masters TV. Like, follow, subscribe. And also, we have a Facebook group for all the viewers and lovedies to assemble and have fun, exchange recipes, photos, comments. It's called JMS Live Lovedy Hall. That's JMS Live Lovedy Hall. And it's on Facebook, and everybody's welcome to hop in there. And also, this is our 1-year anniversary of the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We started this 1 year ago, unbelievably, this past week, the week that we're in right now that we're wrapping up. 1 year ago, over 400 plus live daily episodes, sometimes 2 episodes a day. And I balance this with working full-time in television and radio. So it's a really crazy process and very busy days, but thoroughly enjoy it. It's a total blast, and it's a total joy and blessing as well. And we're working on a very special anniversary show coming up. It's going to be a great show coming up in the middle of May. So we're asking all the viewers and guests, if you'd like to send in a video, quick video, could be on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be a Hollywood production. And you can email it to us at jimmasterstv@gmail.com. jimmasterstv@gmail.com. And we're going to collect those from guests and viewers, and we're going to air them on our special anniversary celebration. Our anniversary celebration. That's when you take anniversary and celebration and you combine the 2 words, you get anniversary. Anniversary celebration episode coming up. You know what I'm talking about. So we're going to be doing that. So if you would like to be on the Jim Masters Show Live, just take your phone and point it in this direction and talk to it and tell us why you enjoy the Jim Masters Show Live. We're getting that from viewers, and we're getting those videos from our guests as well. We would love it, and we'll air them on that anniversary episode. So we're collecting those now because we're getting close to the episode. So make something quick. Have somebody hold the camera or hold your phone and just talk into it. You don't have to be all dressed up. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And you can send it to jimmasterstv@gmail.com. We would love it. And thanks for all the great content. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate that as well. Hearts from Jennifer and good stuff. And Jamie and Nicholas, woohoo, they're great guests coming up. JD Barker is fantastic as well. You downloaded the book today. Wowzers, already hooked. Looking forward to the episode. 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. This Tuesday, special episode with author J.D. Barker. We're not here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Family Day, Mother's Day. So you have a beautiful Mother's Day with you and yours. Thank you, Jim, for another wonderful evening. Happy Mother's Day, all. You as well. Sherry Larson. And Anne says, what a beautiful Saturday evening. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you have a wonderful time in Southern California this Mother's Day weekend. Anne, there is the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon last night. I had the 1 degree of Jim Masters. Spent last night online with Mario Frangoulis. So you watched our episode with Greek tenor Mario Frangoulis. Wasn't that a cool one? He was live from Greece when we had him on, and it was really, really cool. Again, we say a very, very happy Mother's Day to all of the moms, grandmoms, and all the rest out there from all of us here at the Jim Masters Show Live. And again, to my beautiful mother, we love her, the whole family, we love her. Talented, loving, creative, very heart-centric, very family-oriented, and just a very, very beautiful woman inside and out. We are blessed. I call my parents our executive producers because they really are. They really, really are. Your parents are your executive producers. And cool stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Jennifer Barry says, I posted pictures of me and my Matchbox cars on the Jim Masters Facebook group, right? JMS Live, Lovity Hall. Cool. That's cool. Happy Mother's Day all as well from June. And Christine Clifton says, Jim, this was really an enjoyable show with Ryan. Happy 1-year anniversary, Jim, for the JMS Live. Happy Mother's Day to all. Thanks for a double lovity today. See you all Monday. We'll be here Monday with Hollywood legend Ruta Lee. What a week we have coming up. It just gets better and better and better. Marty Thompson says, another great date night with Babette. Thanks, guys, in Nashville, Marty and Babette. You guys are the best. Take care. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to, of course, smile. That's so important. Don't forget to share the lovity like we talk about all the time. And, of course, my favorite Zen place is with loving family and friends, which is tomorrow, of course, and Mother's Day, and the ocean. I love swimming, tennis, and all the rest, writing, music. But put me near the ocean, swimming, surfing, floating in it, boogie boarding, sailing it. I just love the ocean. We live along the ocean here, along the coast, so we are blessed. That's the Atlantic Ocean you're looking at there. And my work in television, radio, and stage, on air, on camera, and behind the scenes. Love all of that as well. Do what you love and love what you do. And if you get to do that, you are truly, truly blessed. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show Live, gang. You can find all of the episodes, again, archived 24/7, 365 on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. We've created a wonderful community here, an international community with great entertainment, inspiring conversation, old school talk show vibes with a modern twist and modern vibe as well. It's a nice mix and great guests and all of you, the Lovity Squad from around the world. Happy Mother's Day to all the Lovity moms. God bless the Lovity mothers everywhere. Hashtag best job ever. Happy Mother's Day for tomorrow. Good night, everyone. See you Monday. Jim, will you please expert Ward what it was like going down the bat pole? Gary, if you're with us on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, you can ask that question live if you're with us. That would be awesome. If not, I will ask it for you. Carla in beautiful South America and Brazil says, happy Mother's Day weekend, Jim and gang. See you next show. We'll be here Monday night with Hollywood legend Ruta Lee. And beautiful kisses coming in from Anne. And Jennifer says, yup. And subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, Marty. We would love it. When you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, it really does help the channel. It allows us to create more content for you, more episodes. So we would love it. And that's really a beautiful thing. And make sure you click the notification bell, because earlier today, we did an episode of the show, which was a freestyle surprise pop-up show where it was me and all of the lovely viewers, and we were chatting about this, that, and the other thing, and we had a great time. We did about a 1-hour surprise pop-up show this afternoon on the Jim Masters Show Live. So if you missed that, go check it out on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. One more comment coming in. Thank you, Jim. Fun night. Thank you as well for being here. Jennifer in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Great group tonight. Good to see all these smiley faces. We love you all. Take care. Again, a very, very happy Mother's Day, everybody. We'll be back on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Jim Masters TV, and also in our Facebook group, JMS Live, Lovity Hall. And enjoy. If you're going to binge watch our episodes, there's 400 there for you to binge watch. Enjoy yourself. Tell a friend about our show too. We would really love that. That means a lot. All right. You're the best. We love you all. Take care. Be well. Happy Mother's Day weekend. We'll see you next time. on the Jim Masters Show Live. Good night.